Hey guys, Sarah here, coming to you straight out of the shower, like I do an odd percentage of the time on this channel. Today I'm actually going to be going through and giving you guys some corn snake facts that I recently learned. So I'm just going to jump into it. Quickly before I do though, I want to remind everybody that I have tie-dye shirts on my website available now, which are super, super cool. The shirts are really comfortable. I'm not wearing mine now, but I absolutely love it. It's a nice cotton shirt. It's breathable, but it's also like, warm, but not too warm. It's just a really nice t-shirt. They're really, really high quality, and you can get them in just white or you can get them tie-dyed at custom, and you get 30% off between now and the end of the year with the code TD30. That's on my website for anything. Anything that's on my website right now, except for snakes, is going to be 30% off with that code. So if you don't want a shirt, I also have some other things on there, like some masks and some notebooks and other things like that. So just check that out. So this is a list that I have compiled through comments that you guys have posted either on my YouTube channel or on my Facebook, or just a few things that people have messaged me as well that I thought were really interesting facts, and some of it is going to just be my opinion, so just keep in mind that anything that wasn't something that was like directly told to me is definitely just going to be my opinion. So just like I said, just keep that in mind. This is just as much opinion as it is like a fact. So I guess we're not calling this corn snake facts, we're calling this corn snake opinions that are, heavily based in fact. I don't know. After everything that has happened with me on YouTube in the last like month, it's really difficult for me to come on here and be like, yeah, this is true and this is true and this is true, because I've been told that you know, even things that are scientifically proven are not true, so I shouldn't be saying that they're true. So anyway, I'm moving on from that. I'm getting into it. Okay, so the first thing that I want to mention was something that was brought up on my palmetto video, which I'm still very proud of that video, by the way. I put a lot of work into it, so if you haven't seen that, go watch it. And that is that the bug-eyed issue tends to be very male heavy and not so much in the females. And this is something that hasn't been like 100% proven, but I want to say like 5 or 6 different people mentioned it to me, not just in the comments on that video, but also in private message. So apparently, generally speaking, it's more like 20 to 25% female, and then 75 to 80% male, being the bug-eyed. So just thought that was kind of an interesting thing. Of the bug-eyes, the majority of them are males, and I'm not 100% sure why that is. And it was hard enough for me to find just the information that I found on palmetto, being, how the palmetto gene has also controls like not just pigment, but also the cells that would go into the eye and stuff like that. So it was hard enough for me to find the information on that, and I can't imagine trying to find scientific information on why it's male heavy. But that's just a cool fact. Thought I would let you guys know that. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was my opinion on redback corns. This is something that could have and should have been in either probably the like not very well known names in corn snake video that I did, and honestly I just kind of forgot about it. I didn't think about it. There was also another one known as pepper, and also one known as pastel. And so I'm kind of going to go over all three of those. First, I'll go ahead and kind of move backwards. Pastel is a type of ghost, and that term is still used. Apparently, according to the person that I talked to, they said that, and this is not the same person that have been like having issues with or has had issues with me. This is a completely different conversation with someone else. But they said that pastel used to just be the term for a ghost. They just called a ghost a pastel, which I had never heard that. I don't know if maybe that's something that's more in the UK than it is here in the US. But pastel is a type of ghost, and from what I understand, it's a type of ghost that's very, very light colored. Maybe even has a little bit of like keys mixed in there with some Miami. So it is still a term that is used, pastel ghost. It's just not used very often anymore. Pepper is another one that used to be a term for granite, and not original granite, the granite that is the combination between diffused and anerythristic type A. So anery and diffuse combination. Some people were calling it pepper in its early stages because it did kind of look like, sort of like a salt and pepper look. But it is obviously not called that now. It's called granite, but that's just a cool fact. The red-backed corns are ones, like I said, that I'd kind of forgotten about. But essentially they look like wide-striped. But it is my opinion, not 100% sure that this is a fact or not, but it's my opinion and the opinion of a few other people who I have talked to that they are hybrids. They are very closely related to what I would consider to those mosaic that I talked about in the not well-known corn snake morph names or whatever. And I think that there's actually some milk snake blood involved in that because they really do look a lot like a milk snake to me, not just in pattern, but the vibrance of their color and the body type and the way that the scales almost look kind of rubbery. A lot of that is a milk snake trait in the shape of the head and the way the head and the neck taper. It all looks very milk snake to me. But again, that's my opinion. You know, someone asked me what my opinion was on it. That's my opinion, is that it's likely a hybrid. Someone asked me also, how long can a newborn corn snake go without food? Because a few people have had some issues with getting newborn corn snakes to eat. I do have a video on a few different things that you can try to get baby corn snakes to eat. I'll link that above for you guys. But the answer is, I have never had a baby snake starve to death, so I don't know the exact answer to that. But I would say if they don't eat, so when they first hatch, they absorb the yolk, or at least that's the hope, that they absorb the yolk. I have had some that, for whatever reason or another, they got scared out of the egg too early, and the yolk separated from them, and they didn't get that initial sustenance. That doesn't inherently hurt them, but I do not recommend forcing that to happen, or if you can avoid that separation at all possible, please avoid it for them. But initially they should have that yolk absorbed into their bodies, and they can live off of just the yolk for, I want at least a couple of weeks, if not up to a month. But I rarely, if I have a baby snake that hasn't eaten for a month, I will start doing tricks such as tease feeding, assist feeding, in the worst case, force feeding. I do not recommend anyone force feed unless you are accompanied by someone who's experienced, or if you are very experienced yourself. It is difficult to force feed. And I know that there are some videos out there on, I even saw a video once where someone took ferret food and ground it up with some water and then put it in a tube and then tube fed a baby snake ferret food. Don't do that. Just do not do that. If you feel like you need to do any type of tube feeding like that, I highly recommend Reptilinks. I actually have a link or a code, I guess, for Reptilinks. It's SSS27. So that's Sarah's. It's like Sarah's Snake Shop 27 that you can use at checkout, and it will get you a discount at Reptilinks. Reptilinks are already ground up, and it's already the nutrients that a snake would eat. So if you do feel like you have to tube feed a baby snake because it hasn't eaten in a month or maybe even 6 weeks, definitely go with something that's closer to what they're actually going to eat, and do not use ferret food. I know that sounds like I shouldn't have to tell you, do not use ferret food. And maybe ferret food has everything in it that you need, but again, Reptilinks is already made with stuff that we know snakes are going to eat, as opposed to ferret food. I'm just better safe than sorry kind of thing when it comes to that. Someone asks me when or if snake eggs should be cut. I did mention this in an old video, but I haven't talked about it in a long time. Cutting snake eggs is it's not typically going to be necessary. A lot of python breeders will cut eggs either after the first baby cuts the egg open or around close to the time that the babies are supposed to hatch. And it's a questionable practice because, if we always cut eggs, some of the weaker babies that wouldn't have probably made it might breed, and then their babies might be weak. We don't really know what all the repercussions are going to be. When it comes to certain things like the Golden Project, I do like to, after the first one has cut, I like to cut a very, very tiny hole in the top of each of those eggs, because Golden is one of those gene mutations that's really rare still, and it has been difficult to get it off the ground for many people. So I have cut those eggs. And I don't always cut eggs. Like sometimes I'll see one and I'm like, okay, and then I'll come back in a day and then the rest of them are out and it's just fine. So as far as when or if to cut eggs, if you're going with a when, I would say wait until at least the first few have already cut, and then just maybe make a tiny itty bitty little tiny incision, you know, just barely wide enough for their head to poke out. And then just leave it alone after that. Don't like try to cut the babies out of the eggs. There's no reason to do that. Like I said earlier, you want to make sure that they're not too scared to like sit in the egg and absorb the yolk. But for the most part, especially with corn snakes, since this is mostly a corn snake channel, there's really no reason to be cutting open corn snake eggs for the most part. There's just really no reason to. That's going to be it for this video. I decided to go ahead and cut this in half. I had already recorded all of like a whole 20 minutes worth and thought that you guys would probably rather, again, this be cut in half instead of sitting and watching 20 minutes worth of me rambling, to do maybe like a 10-minute now and a 10-minute later. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Again, remember to check out my website for 30% off. Use code TD30, and I will see you guys in the next video. Comment down below if there's anything you have questions on or any cool facts about corn snakes that you've learned recently. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.